Yeah. You know, we take it personal a lot of times when we're dating or involved with someone and they choose to leave or walk away. I challenge you to try to see it from another perspective. This perspective might come um, as it's ending right after it ends, or maybe even a year later, or however long it takes. But I challenge you to get to a point to see that it could have been a couple of things going on. The reason why that was the case. Sometimes we take it in as if we're not doing enough, or um, we're not meeting their needs, or uh, just we internalize it and feel like we're not good enough. But in reality, for some cases, it was actually they were afraid. They were afraid, um, or they were still dealing with some things from their past and they just weren't ready. It's scary having something new. People project a lot of their fears and their traumas and their anxieties and worries and concerns onto those that are really just there to try to love them into their best version. Show them something else that they've been asking for in silence, and they probably weren't expecting to receive it at the time that they did. Some people will sabotage a connection or a relationship because it's something new, it's unfamiliar. Usually people fear the unknown. They fear what they don't understand. And the only thing you can do is stand in your true, authentic self and shine that light. You've met people that are inspired by you, but yet you have people that you love so deeply that they seem to misunderstand. That's when you got to challenge yourself to really let go and back off, because it's not up to you to determine where they are on their journey or what you can do to help them. They got to want to, they got to desire it, they got to recognize and be aware that they're dealing with traumas or past pain, and somehow they keep bringing that stuff with them. They got to get to a point where they're ready to be done with that. Sometimes it comes from them losing multiple people before they're like, yo, what is this really about? The same way that you're going through your healing and you're doing the inner work, they can too. Depending on the connection, you can even give them encouraging words, and it's up to them to interpret it. It's up to them to wake up and see what you're really saying. For some people, you might still be available. And if you feel guided to take that person back, you can. And then for others, by the time they realize that you might already be with someone else. So try to understand and not internalize the separations or the breakups. Sometimes even the misunderstandings. Start looking, if you are able to look at yourself in the mirror and really truly love on you and speak life into you, that person can also do the same thing. And sometimes we walk around as mirrors and we don't know it. And we internalize everything that's happening. But until you get to that point where you know you deserve more, and it doesn't mean that you don't love an individual or care about their well-being, it's just getting to that point where you finally choose you. And you no longer are chasing, you're just attracting everything that's in alignment with that version of you. And as you ascend and go higher and become better, that's also what you'll attract. So I was talking to a friend recently, and I gave like this analogy where it's like, some of us are like pulling up to someone's house and we know we have to catch a flight, and they come to the door and you're like, come on, let's go. And they're like, no, go ahead, it's okay. And you're like, no, come on, let's go. I'm right here. They're like, no, I'll just catch the next one. Or I'll see you there. And you get in the car, you hop back out, you're like, are you sure? Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Or they just go in the house and don't say anything, right? Ghosting. So you just drive and you just remain faithful and hopeful that what's for you is for you. You go, you keep driving. Maybe you look around and see if you see their car, or you might look over at your phone or realize your phone hasn't gone off. And you're like, well, there's always the airport. You get to the airport, you find yourself maybe looking around, just being observant, just seeing just seeing if they're there, if they showed up. And you're like, well, maybe on the plane. You get on the plane and there's an arm that reaches over and there's a ticket that they're flashing at you. And you turn around and you just think you know exactly who it is. And you get to realize like, yo, I don't know who this is. Some of you is going to be in person. The person that you feel drawn to the most, but you know that you got to let them go for your growth, for their growth. Or it's going to be somebody entirely different that you've attracted because you've elevated, you've evolved, you've grown. But in that analogy, you're still moving forward. Some of us are still stuck at the house trying to convince them to get in the car. Some of us are driving to the airport thinking, wondering, imagining. Get to the airport, still looking around, still holding that hope, that faith that maybe things could work out, things would change. And then some of you get on the plane. And on the plane, you realize you're going into a new chapter. You're going to a new level. You're going to be experiencing a new side of life. And that's you. That's a part of you. When you get to the plane, you know that you've understood how to let go. You're learning how to release the past. You're learning how to release your traumas. You're learning how to do what's best for you. You're learning to follow your own inner compass. And you're not swayed by what other people think of you, what they have to say, how long it's taking you, why you can't seem to make your mind up. You're just focused. So that's all I have, you guys. I just felt that in my spirit and I thought I'd share it. So I hope that it's helpful for you. See you guys again.